We're back from our summer break. It is the Gift of Gaming podcast. And what better way to come back than to update you on everything that's happened in video games for the month of July. So grab a cup of tea, sit down, relax, and we're here to update you. It's me, your host, Darren Wade, and I'm joined by the dream team, the anchor men themselves, Mr. Xbox Games Pass himself, Luke Maycock. Luke, good to have you back on the show. It's been you have a nice break?
I had a lovely break, lovely summer break. Darren goes away, podcast goes away. Darren comes back, podcast is back. Let's go.
I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. Luke's like, podcast went away. It was such a
so nice.
Such a break. And of course, the console-hating, PC-playing, full-time Canadian. There was another piece. Lore seeking, Canadian himself, Chris. Okay, Chris, it's good to have you back, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Good to be here.
I'm gonna have to, get better at that. The lore seeking. That's the one I keep.
I mean, that should be your sound check every time before.
Practice it.
Yeah.
Practice the names. Yours just keeps growing. We'll have to add another title onto it. How was your podcast summer break?
Yeah, not too exciting. I mean, I didn't do much except for research, quote unquote.
Did you miss me?
Yeah.
for audience, Chris rolled his eyes. I'm a little bit disappointed by the eye roll.
I'm a terrible liar, by the
way. But I suppose it's been a while. Are you guys playing anything? In the last couple of weeks, you guys hopped on anything different, anything new?
I'm boring. Just no. I've been busy as crap. Even though we've had a little summer break, I've been weddings and new jobs and stuff like that. So no, I've been super boring. Chris, have you been?
Yeah, I've been across the whole spectrum, I think, recently. Like,
nice.
Daily matches of Street Fighter.
How is that going? Because I was lucky enough to get to play the beta test for Tekken 8. I got a day. I came back.
Did you?
I came back from my holidays, and there was a day left on because I applied for the testing, and my brother was using my file while I was away. But I got a day out of it, and I'm very excited for Tekken 8. But how's Street Fighter still treating you?
It's really fucking good. I just wish I was better, man. I'm just so bad. The people online are just too good. It's kind of disheartening.
Yeah. And you give them too much time, Chris. And that's, online fighting games, I can't really, not that I can't get behind. I do well enough, but there's a certain type of player for online fighting games, like the juggler, or that the people that have that one combo that they use over and over again because it's obviously worked for them to get them to this point. I'm not a rage quit kind of guy. But does fighting games online make me feel like rage quitting sometimes? I myself have reverted to an old habit, and I don't know I do know how this happened. I was waiting in the airport, coming home from my holidays, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and lo and behold, a little video came up, and it was just a normal funny video, but the background music was that sweet Animal Crossing theme. Guess who started a new island in Animal Crossing, ladies and gentlemen.
He's back on the sauce.
He's back, yeah. And it's been relaxing as hell. Yeah, I've only done 2 days. And my rule for this one is because I did a lot of time traveling in my previous files, back and forth, and time traveling to Sundays so I could sell all my shit and hit the markets hard. But I said to myself, this time I'm just going to play it as it comes. If it's a Sunday in Animal Crossing day, the rule is it's got to be a Sunday in real life,
When you say, did you have to change the date settings of your Switch to do stuff like that?
Yeah. And I'd say I spent like a lot of time on that menu when I was playing Animal Crossing. Like I do stuff for a day, I'd be like, I'm bored of this day. On to the next day. Right. I want that bridge built, so I'm going to fast forward.
Can't believe you felt the need to cheat at a baby game.
Well, Chris, you know what? You're not wrong, but it is the most relaxing baby game I've ever played.
Yeah, you know what? I see there's an appeal there, but like, if I need a relaxing game, I still just revert back to Stardew.
And so Stardew was on my Switch. I brought my Switch away with me, it being the perfect portable piece of equipment to play video games on. And I wanted to play Stardew Valley, but I didn't have, because I think my only save files were on my PlayStation. So I was like, oh, okay, so I don't actually have a save file on the Switch. This would be like a brand new file. And there's something about the hard bit of starting off when you're really just like,
that's my favorite part. Yeah,
I like having a little bit to go with, but I was like, no. I say that, but then a couple of days later, I decided a brand new island in Animal Crossing. So who knows where my brain was at?
I find it super overwhelming to jump back into Stardew after a long time off, like on an old farm, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
I saw people. I guess maybe it's because I'm not I started an Instagram because of this podcast, and actually, which reminds me, I should probably post something about the show for tomorrow when we release it or whatever. But I'm not an Instagram person, but lots of, I guess because I've watched a couple of videos and people playing Stardew, it's like in my algorithm now. But lots of people, and I didn't know you could do this, people were, the bridge or the tunnel that the bus drives through, people have used that. Like they've lit that tunnel up and have used it as like an extra storage.
I've seen people just put like every possible pathway that like an NPC doesn't walk through is just a treasure chest. Doesn't make any sense.
Probably looks like crap as well.
Build a shed.
Yeah. Do it already. So, guys, there's been plenty of news in July, and actually, there's a couple of articles here that got me super excited. And this month has been a little bit self-indulgent. I chose the articles based on a lot of my preferences for the video games that I like. So screw you guys. But I guess we can hop into it. We got everything from Guerrilla making announcements, Horizon announcements, to EAFC. That's right, we can't say FIFA anymore. And even stuff about an unexpected or unannounced Capcom game that's expected to sell millions. And boy, howdy, am I excited about that one. But we'll kick it off. We'll go first for our Guerrilla story. Guerrilla Games has 16 plans in the pipeline for its Horizon franchise. So this comes from hitmarker.net, and it's an article done by Danny Craig. So according to gamesindustry.biz, several developers at the studio reflected on the development of Horizon Zero Dawn and its sequel Forbidden West at the Develop Brighton event on July 12th, with studio director and art director Jan Bart van Beek stating that the series will continue for a long while. Guerrilla has revealed during the talk that it has 16 plans for future projects, but did not elaborate on whether these would be games or if it intends to break into the TV industry again, as it has done with the upcoming Netflix series. So far, we know of 3 franchise-related projects in the works: a co-op multiplayer title, a third mainline entry, and a live-action Netflix series. Van Beek acknowledged that the multiplayer project has a significant fan base and revealed that its development has been a massive shift for the studio, almost on the same level as doing the first Horizon. And that building a multiplayer game in the series universe, while exciting, is a whole new challenge for the studio. Guerrilla, best known for the Killzone series, has had a massive success with Horizon. In May, it was reported that the second game, Forbidden West, had sold 8.3 million copies as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, bringing the franchise's total sales to 32.7 million. Both of these numbers are expected to grow once the game receives a PC release, similar to what happened with Zero Dawn. 16 projects. They've named 3 of those 16, which is a live-action Netflix series, which I'm 50-50 about. The third installment of the game, which I'm excited about, and the multiplayer game, which I'm very excited about, however they do that. What are the other 13?
They're not all... I know the title of the article said that they were related to the Horizon series, but the quote in it doesn't suggest that they are. So it might be... I'm thinking like 1 or 2 of them could be like reviving Killzone. That was like such a successful IP for Guerrilla, and...
oh shit, were they Killzone?
They're Killzone.
Yeah, okay.
And it's funny because myself and my brother Graham will often revert to, at Christmas time, we'll take the PlayStation 2 back out and we'll load up the first Killzone, because I think they were called the Hellgast.
Yeah.
Were the enemy kind of dudes in that. Very cool enemies. But we'll always do this kind of like almost like a Normandy D-Day style of map. And we just have himself and myself against 7 super, like the hardest difficulty Hellgast you could have on this map. And it's cool because you get on top of your fortress, you're looking down over the beach thing, you just see these 7 guys coming up, and you're screwed because they're impossible to beat. Killzone was an incredible series, and it was such a but such a different, like Horizon is a very, very, very different game to the Killzone franchise.
Yeah.
So you reckon their 16 projects aren't all related to Horizon?
I think they have the kind of clout at this stage to flex into some new IPs as well. Like a lot of studios are. Sony will probably be encouraging them to do stuff like that as well. Like they have a great success with Horizon. They want to keep that going. They have a successful IP that would, like, I don't know, like a reboot of the original Killzone game would sell copies.
We love remakes at the minute.
Yeah, it's a big market for them, it seems. And Sony is probably going to encourage them to get focusing on their next IP. Like projects could mean something as vague as they've written a name up on a whiteboard or something like that. But
graphic novel, just
who knows?
A new poster.
A new poster. Yeah. That's a project.
Just merch. That's what I was thinking too.
It could be
a new line of merch or something.
Yeah, it could be.
He's just trying to get us all excited for like what could be Sweet FA at the end of the day. Chris, you haven't played Horizon, sure you haven't?
No. I played a little of the first while my buddies were playing it, and just kind of tucked in for a couple minutes here and there.
And with the second one coming to PC, is it a thing that you'll have in your catalog at all?
No, probably not. I'm not too keen on it.
Yeah.
It looks good. I've heard the story is great, but yeah, I don't know.
Not your cup of tea.
No.
You're too damn busy taking on those Zangiefs and Chun-Lis.
The honest truth here is, like, single player games just really don't do it for me. I don't want to pay all that money and just like spend like 40 to 60 hours by myself playing a game.
Oh,
right?
I'd pay so much money to be by myself. It's interesting that you have that frame of mind, because I would be totally different, where multiplayer games, I guess it depends. You have a lot of like Steam, and everything that comes with Steam is very, I think a lot of them games tend to be kind of friendlier games, whereas the multiplayer games I've chosen to play online are kind of I wouldn't say, I'm not like going for the competitive side of things, but I do Call of Duty or Tekken 8 that are like can be very frustrating for me. So I've kind of weaned myself off online multiplayer games and gone back to big time just single player narratives.
Not all my online games are competitive. Like, I play a lot of like couch well, I guess it's not really couch co-op in this case, but like Steam has remote play.
Yeah.
So you can play the couch co-op options. It's just your buddy is like accessing your computer through Steam, which is pretty dope. But we've gone through my catalog doing that, and it's fun. Love those kind of games.
Different pace of gaming.
Yeah, exactly. And you can always change the pace because they're such small games and super accessible. You can jump from like speedrunners to Tricky Towers to like Wizard of Legend in like just a span of an hour.
Could you see yourself getting involved in the Horizon multiplayer game?
Who knows? Maybe
co-op multiplayer game. Yeah.
I'm like that's. Reading this again, I forgot that was even a thing that was in the pipeline. I think I got distracted a lot by Naughty Dog talking about how there is a Last of Us multiplayer thing that's in the works as well. That's kind of been at the forefront of my mind, being like, that could be a cool concept. But an Horizon online multiplayer, however that works, I'd be very excited about. I love that world.
Didn't the first Last of Us have multiplayer?
Yeah,
I'm pretty competitive. Yeah. Like there was the Fireflies against, I don't know, the other team.
Was there?
Yeah, there was definitely multiplayer.
Yeah, you could set traps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, I think that have they called this? Is it Factions or something like that? Last of Us Factions. I could be wrong here, but I think, and that would be a pretty cool. I mean, if it's the thing about games like this, like The Last of Us and Horizon, is like the graphic, like how good those games look graphically. Scaled into a multiplayer game, I'd be very excited about you to be.
Usually graphics get scaled back I think once you introduce.
But Horizon 2 was so good that even if they scaled it back, I'm pretty confident it might look like a good game. And I think, Luke, you haven't played the Horizon series, you haven't?
I've never touched the Horizon series. No. It looks great. It looks fantastic, but it's not even on PC, is it?
It's coming to, like, the Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one's gone onto PC, and this one will be going to PC as well. That's kind of the agreement Sony tends to have with its first-party games, that, like, here it is, and a year later you'll get it on PC, essentially.
Yeah, but that was, Horizon Zero Dawn was 2016, wasn't it?
2017 was when that game came out.
Yeah, it took a long time for that one. Same with the original God of War. Like, they're not always just one-year exclusives.
I think they've changed their plan, and they try and get it out a bit quicker. I think that it's a big money making thing.
I think it depends on the company. Like, they'll release it on Sony, make their tons of money, and once that exclusivity runs out, I think then they start developing. Because I don't know if, like, not all these companies do a straight port. Because ports are normally doo-doo. They might like develop from ground up, and I feel like Horizon might need a proper to do something like that. Yeah.
What game came out recently that was it The Last of Us that was ported and it was awful?
There was a few one. No, there was the Dead Space.
That was awful. The Dead Space remake. Yeah.
No, it wasn't the remake. The remake was meant to be pretty good, I thought. Yeah, it was the one that was trying to dethrone Dead Space.
Oh, the Callisto.
Yeah, Callisto Protocol was one of the worst.
That was ropey,
in a long time. And I think, I think Last of Us was pretty bad too. I think most people were especially pissed off that they were charging like full day one release prices for it, and they were just like, "You're giving this garbage for no, that's not going to fly."
And that is BS, absolutely. Especially the console hating people, the PC playing people over there. They won't stand for that. We'll go on to our next thing, which is if Kev was here, Kev would love this. He was the only guy to ever bring FIFA to this podcast. I mean, I was the guy who played it when I was younger, but it's funny that I'll he's the only person who could really comment on this. But our next one is EA Sports unveils rebranded soccer video game FC24. It's first without the FIFA branding. This comes from Forbes.com by Antonio Pequeño IV, apparently. EA Sports dropped its announcement trailer on Monday for FC24, the first soccer video game from the publisher after it did not reach a new licensing agreement with FIFA, the World Soccer governing body, last year, ending the extremely popular FIFA-branded soccer video game series. The rebrand to EA Sports FC was announced last May when FIFA and EA Sports did not reach a licensing agreement, which marked the end of the entity's nearly 30-year partnership.
Fuck.
Yeah, long time. In a statement to fans last year, EA Sports said a soccer video game would remain the same following the rebrand, a claim backed by the brand's more than 300 licensing agreements with clubs and leagues internationally.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. So they still retain the rights to use real players?
jerseys, everything. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is the interesting thing about it, because I remember hearing about it. I think this is the figure here. So back to the article. During contentious negotiations, FIFA asked for at least double the annual $150 million it would receive from EA Sports, according to the New York Times. Which to me is just, I mean, FIFA and that whole thing it's just nothing but greed. So that doesn't surprise me.
So is EA though.
Well, yeah, it's like the two greediest monsters coming together.
Greed off.
Yeah, greed off. But I was surprised that I didn't realize that EA had the licensing agreements. I thought that all those licensing agreements were through FIFA. So when I first heard the
I would have
news,
thought so too.
yeah, I thought we were going to get Bamchester United, or with Cristiano Ronaldo or whatever else,
I was
all
trying to
that
think
kind
of
of
a
stuff.
soccer player's
Yeah.
name. I couldn't think of one though.
So at least 2 years of negotiations transpired over renewing the contract that allowed EA Sports to use FIFA's name for its yearly soccer video game. EA Sports was FIFA's largest commercial partner before the breakup. EA spokesman Eric Escavage told Forbes last year the decision to split from FIFA was an amicable one, and the game maker was thankful to FIFA for its years of partnership. The final installment of the franchise, FIFA 23, is one of the series' top-selling games. From the start of the year to the end of May, FIFA 23 was the 8th best-selling game in the world, beating other sports video games such as Madden, NFL 23, and NBA 2K23, according to Circana. So, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer that if you have all the licensing yourself, why the fuck would you pay $300 million a year for a brand on the front of the box?
Yeah, FIFA kind of dropped the ball on this one. They kind of fumbled it.
Yeah.
Because that was... you can see where they're coming from. Like, FIFA has turned into one of the most profitable video games on the market at the moment, just through their
Do you think
Ultimate
this
Team.
losing the FIFA brand is going to affect the sales of this
Absolutely
game?
not.
No,
No,
and
I don't think anyone plays the game out of their loyalty to FIFA.
No,
they
not at
like
all.
the sport.
And what's more, the first time I heard about them dropping the brand was about a year ago, I think, or maybe it was just over a year, when all those like massive corruption stories were breaking around FIFA.
Yep.
And at the time I was like, oh yeah, great, if they can distance themselves from FIFA, like they're saving themselves a lot of PR woes, which was probably a very strong negotiating point for them in this, take 150 mil or walk away kind of situation that ended up transpiring.
I mean, FIFA, who on the FIFA side was negotiating that, being like, no, double the money or we walk? And it's like, well, you can take the same money or we walk. And it's like, okay, we're leaving. It's 150 million a year that you're just... I mean, not that FIFA needs it. Jesus Christ, like money coming out the ears.
Yeah.
But like a strange choice on their part to try and like not even say, okay, look, through inflation, blah, blah, this is going to be, we're going to up it to 180 million, throw another 30, like double the money. Is it crazy?
Yeah, I think it's just a misreading of what, like, surely the people in the negotiation room for FIFA didn't really, like, this is obviously pure speculation, but they didn't really know what the value of the video game was. They were like, there's a property associated with our name that makes hundreds of millions in revenue every year, and we're not getting we're not getting a percentage cut of that, we're not getting anything. They just saw the figures, and they were like, we want more, we want double. Fuck that. No, you can't use our brand, you can't use our name. But they kind of, I don't know, they couldn't see the forest for the trees. They didn't get that it was a video game and that the video game didn't need the word FIFA.
On it, yeah. Because that's the thing, is that my only worry for that would have been, okay, well now we've got like a PES 2006 job where all the names just stupid, and I mean I personally, like, because I played, I think I admitted it in, we were doing one of the episodes was our the games that we were most addicted to or that we couldn't stop going back to, and I found out that my top rated games like hourly on my PlayStation was FIFA 2013, which kind of disgusted me a little bit, but I had like that.
We were super into it at one point.
I was, and the reason I was 2013 was the year that Wigan won the FA Cup, so that was a big year for me, so I had played so much time on that, but I wouldn't have been able to play that game with fake names. I couldn't turn on a football game and have it like, oh, this is meant to be Manchester United, or that player is meant to be David De Gea. I couldn't do it.
See, I don't know. That's I can't say the same.
If you,
I don't really care as long as it's a banger of a game.
So
I could give it.
That's actually the lore that Darren's kind of referencing, is that we had a game here back in 2006, like the mid 2000s, called PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, which was kind of pound for pound a better video game than FIFA was. Like the controls were better, it played better, it was just
Looked
more
better.
enjoyable to play. But they had no licenses, so everyone was like a knockoff version of the real player. and a
That sounds
knockoff version of the real
hilarious
team.
too. That sounds
and
not just like a better game, but also funny. So,
But
sign
Chris,
me up.
Chris, I couldn't relive the days of having Ben Watson scoring the winning goal against Manchester City in the FA Cup final. I don't want Flen Potson to score that goal. I want the Ben Watson to score it. So I couldn't play the game like that. I just know I could as a personal thing, and I guess that probably lends itself to a lot of people maybe.
I think PES actually had a really sad end to the story. I think it was like 2016 or 2017. They did a rebrand. I could be getting this totally wrong, but I think they did a rebrand, made it a pure esports game, because the gameplay was always what made PES. So they renamed it to something completely new, went heavy into the esports, and it got panned. Like, it got absolutely slammed in reviews, and it was free to play as well, so it just disappeared. It was insane.
Oh, no.
It was
Press F4 for PES. Was that the joke?
no,
Was that the-
press F to pay respects.
Oh, well, I'll see myself out. Yeah, press F to pay respects. That's what it was. I'm a gamer. Yeah, Luke, go ahead.
Just a couple of things about this as well. There's a couple of... I was watching a few of the trailers, like the gameplay trailer and stuff was out, and a few other trailers for Ultimate Team. Now they're going to a system where you can mix in women and men soccer players.
Women and men's soccer players and the Legends as well. Well, I think the Legends has always been a thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, Legends has been a thing. But like women's soccer teams as well can cross over. Men's soccer teams, and you can just build up purely on the stats, like your best football team, and take it from there. So
good stuff.
They started that with the NHL this year too, actually.
Oh, that's right, because that was a big part of the marketing for it.
First time a woman made the cover art.
I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, well overdue. And Women's World Cup, Soccer World Cup, is currently taking place in Auckland. Ireland did awful. No surprise.
Yeah, didn't Canada beat you guys?
Oh, we got. I think everybody. I don't even think we won a game, but soccer did our strong.
I think Canada's out now. I think we lost to
Oh no.
somebody. I can't remember who.
But it's okay. We got the Rugby World Cup coming in November, and number one in the world. We'll do better on that.
Canada didn't even make the cut for that. Neither did the States. So there's just no North American representation.
Because I was going through the groups, and myself and Danny, who'd be big rugby fans, were going through the groups just to be like, who are the groups in this up and coming Rugby World Cup? And I kind of thought, oh shit, Chris's Canada isn't there, because we were, I think in the last World Cup, or recently we were talking about Ireland and Canada as a match could be funny, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
hilarious. Yeah.
So this next news announcement, or this news piece, guys, is the one that has me super duper excited. Okay, and this is the unannounced Capcom game expected to sell millions before March 2024, and this is coming from comicbook.com by Mark Deschamps. So this year has been a big one for Capcom, with games like Resident Evil 4, Street Fighter 6 and Exo Primal finding a lot of commercial success. It seems the publisher still has some surprises in store, as it is revealed in financial statements via Bloomberg's Takashi Mochizuki that it acquired developer Sword Cane Studio. Apparently, Sword Cane Studio has been involved with 3 of the biggest games of the year: Final Fantasy XVI, Hi-Fi Rush, and Capcom Street Fighter 6. The studio is fairly small, having just 22 employees, but it's currently working on an unannounced game which Capcom expects would sell millions by March next year. Naturally, Mochizuki's tweets about Sword Cane Studios have prompted a lot of speculation on Twitter. The majority of the employees at Sword Cane Studios are animators, and the small size of the team has led some to believe that this could be a brand new iteration in the Ace Attorney franchise. While the series doesn't sell on the same level as some of Capcom's biggest, Ace Attorney Trilogy did sell more than 2.1 million copies, according to Capcom's investor relations website. However, Capcom already has Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Trilogy, set to release in early 2024, and it seems unlikely the publisher would drop 2 games in the series that close to one another. Given Sword Cane Studios' history as a support team, it's possible they're actually working on something big alongside one of Capcom's other internal developers. If that is the case, the game could end up being a bigger name such as Resident Evil or Monster Hunter. Oh boy, next gen Monster Hunter. Let it be. There's simply no way of knowing for sure, but given Capcom's expectations, it will likely be announced sometime in the very near future. In addition to this unannounced game, Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Trilogy, and Pragmata, it looks like 2024 is shaping up to be another big year for Capcom. Oh, if I got a next gen Monster Hunter that soon, Goodbye, everybody. Podcast is on hold.
I'm fairly sure it's going to be Final Fight.
Oh.
The writing's already on the wall. The like Street Fighter 6
okay.
takes place in Metro City, which is the city Final Fight takes place in. Like, and there's a bunch of all the old characters that are in it.
And you think this game?
Mike Hagar there's a statue of him, but he hasn't been like shown. So I guarantee there's going to be a tie-in, and with all the hype around Street Fighter 6 and it's still going strong,
Yeah.
they're going to be like, by the way, you guys are probably nicking for some old school Final Fight now.
But, and you reckon that could sell millions?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a good IP.
And look at the team. It wouldn't be necessarily the same old Final Fight we'd know, but look at the team too. You mentioned Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
What were the other two games they developed?
They did Final Fantasy
16
and
then
Street Fighter 6. Yeah.
So Hi-Fi Rush, Final Fantasy 16, they could go in a direction of like that kind of combat, but just design a Final Fight around it.
Or that kind of combat against monsters.
I mean, that
And
could
a
be it too. I think Monster Hunter's too ambitious right now. Or are they going to announce it, or are they actually releasing it? Because you said sell 1 million by next March.
So it's funny. I read a couple of articles, and this one they said by March next year. I think that the game will be released by March of next year, and I think they anticipate it will sell millions.
So
I don't think it's going to sell millions by March. I mean, I could be wrong, but I read a number of articles. I picked this one because it specifically mentioned Monster Hunter, and that's why I picked that. I was like, "Ooh, get excited about that." But I would say that by the other articles, it's like this game will be released by March and is expected to sell millions. But I don't think the millions are expected to be sold by March. I think because if it's by March of next year, has a Monster Hunter been in development in secret for the last couple of years? I don't know. See, with the fact that like Sunrise and Monster Hunter, that one Rise, yes, Sunbreak was the big DLC, which only kind of came out recently enough in the last 2 years. Is that enough time for them to have been working on a like next gen? And like maybe it could be for the Switch. I don't know. I mean, it hasn't. I don't know if it's particularly going to be like a next gen console Monster Hunter. But I would just love.
I would love it for it to be a Mega Man, but I don't think they would go. Like, I don't think Mega Man's big enough anymore to sell millions.
No, they kind of learned that with the last one that came out. It was 8.
And I mean, what's the other option? They could go crazy and try to remake like Dino Crisis or something.
I was thinking Okami is a sleeper hit for the one with the dog with the paintbrush.
Yeah, but it was a great game, but it was also super like gimmicky, and I just don't think.
And I think a game like that is a very particular group of people. Like the fact that they're expecting it to sell millions makes me think that it's got
a very established IP.
It has to be a really established IP. I mean, if they're saying that, to have that confidence, it must be one of their bigger hitters. Street Fighter 6 is already here.
I like Final Fight. I think Final Fight fits it well.
Marvel vs. Capcom too. Maybe they'll double down on fighting just because it's already out there. Yeah,
and Marvel's still pretty big, even though the TV shows are pretty trashy at the minute.
A new Marvel vs. Capcom where maybe they get like likeness for Robert Downey Jr. or something.
Man, get that
dope.
Team that'd be pretty good actually. So I mean, look, I would love it to be Monster Hunter. I played Monster Hunter Rise to death, loved it. But myself and Craig and Kevin were always talking about like we played that and then we went back to World. And Rise is an amazing game. It's a real arcadey feel. It's much easier to play.
Just faster.
Faster.
I liked faster.
Yeah. But going back to playing World after playing that and seeing, and like World looks even now, still looks amazing graphically. PS5, Xbox. What's the new Xbox called, Luke? I always mess these up with their names.
Series X.
Series
and
X.
S.
Yeah, Series X and S. So like if you got a Monster Hunter on those consoles next gen, that'd be so good. And I'm ready. I like played Rise to death, put it away about like 2-3 years ago, whatever else, 2 years ago. Haven't really gone back to a Monster Hunter game since. So I'm ready. Definitely ready for the next iteration of Monster Hunter. So I'll keep my fingers crossed. But yeah, money on the table. You guys think it's Final Fight?
Yeah, I think now would be the time. If they ever planned on doing it, it would be now.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're wrong, Chris, for my sake. This next one is a great story. This one is the hit MMO Final Fantasy 14 is finally coming to Xbox. This is coming from Kotaku by Ethan. I think is it Gach? Gach? How would you pronounce that? Gach? Gak? Ethan Gak. Okay. I'm sorry, Ethan. I butchered your name. So here we go. At long last, Xbox owners will soon get to enjoy the MMO RPG PlayStation players have enjoyed for nearly a decade. Final Fantasy XIV is headed to Xbox Series X and S in spring 2024 after being a PlayStation console exclusive since 2014. Producer and director Naoki Yoshida.
Oh, console exclusive. I was about to say, what the fuck? He's not gonna get. It's been on PC.
Have I been playing it on PC? yeah. Console exclusive, yeah. So producer and director Yoshida made the announcement on stage at the game's 2023 Fan Fest in Las Vegas, alongside Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer. The Xbox Series X and S version will offer 4K graphics and faster load times, like its PlayStation 5 counterpart. While the full release is still almost a year away, an open beta will be available for players to try much sooner when patch 6.5x arrives in the months ahead. For those who've been living under an Adamantoise shell, very clever, Final Fantasy XIV has you complete fetched quest dungeons and raids across the dazzling world of Hydaelyn, full of political intrigue and mythical wonder. The game was one of the first live service disasters when it first launched in 2013 and was even entirely shut down for a time before re-releasing as A Realm Reborn. It's received increasingly excellent expansions ever since, each introducing new characters, classes, and conflicts. And while it's an MMO, a duty support system lets you play solo with AI-controlled NPCs. By the time Final Fantasy XIV comes to Xbox Series X and S, Square Enix says the feature will enable players to complete everything from the start of the game up through its most recent Endwalker expansion without ever needing to interact with another human being. Interesting. Defeats the purpose of an MMO, but there we go. The story of how we got here,
people, I ain't signing up for that.
I hate people. The story of how we got here, however, is a long one. Yoshida was asked as early as 2013 why the game wasn't on Xbox One. His answer at the time was that Microsoft's stance on crossplay was too restrictive. Quote, the main reason from our side is that
Microsoft's stance?
Back in 2013, yeah. Funny enough.
Yeah, I was a bit iffy on that as well. But
holy, okay. Jeez, tables have turned these days.
I know, right? So, quote, the main reason from our side is that I don't want the community to be divided, to be split into two or more. For example, one player might be on the PC version, another might be on the PS4 version, and I'm playing the Xbox version, but we're not able to join the same game servers, he told RPG Site at the time. That is just I just don't like the idea. I disagree with it. That was back when Microsoft was the company seemingly standing in the way of crossplay between the two consoles. Years later, roles were reversed, with Sony pushing back against crossplay for games like Fortnite. Yoshida repeated his requirement for crossplay in 2017 interview with Kotaku, and things seemed to be progressing in that direction not long after. Spencer publicly promised to bring the game to Xbox at the X019 Fan Fest event in London. Quote, we have a great relationship with Yoshida-san, and we're working through what it means to bring a cross-platform MMO that they've run for years, he told VGC at the time. It will be one of the games that's coming, and it's something that I know our Xbox fans will be incredibly excited to see. No deal immediately materialized, however, and Yoshida was asked again what the problem was during a 2021 interview around the time Final Fantasy XIV came to PS5. Quote, so I feel bad for saying the same thing every time, he told Easy Allies, but we are still in discussions with Microsoft, and I feel like our conversations are going in a positive tone. The positive tone of these conversations seemingly wasn't enough to finally get Sony to agree to cross-play, though, until now. The two companies also recently reached a 10-year agreement for Call of Duty to keep coming to PlayStation after Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is finalized. Purely a coincidence, I'm sure. Sony, Microsoft, and Square Enix did not immediately respond to any requests for comment. Interesting one. Kind of a little bit to unpack there, but it's funny to think that Xbox was at a time. I never even really thought about that or considered it, but it is funny to think that there was a time when they weren't, I guess, playing the cross-play game, at least with Square Enix, you know?
Yeah, back then, I think it was every man for themselves. Like, people complained a lot about like cross-play not being available because I think 2013 was around the time
we just didn't think it could.
Yeah, like it was sort of, I think 2013 was the first time when it seemed to be possible. And the community started to cry out for it, being like, well, like, what's that like? Because PlayStation, for the longest time, the narrative was that like PlayStation was lagging behind Xbox in their online services. But then by 2013, that was all kind of ironed out. Like there were no big server problems with PlayStation stuff anymore. There's no big ping differential between an Xbox experience and a PlayStation one. So fans started to cry out, being like, why can't you work together? Why can't I play with my PlayStation friends and Xbox
It also
friends?
depends on the design of the game. Like a dedicated server that's run by that video game company that like you would have to connect to. That obviously much easier to make crossplay, but like peer to peer, if someone's on a PlayStation, someone's on an Xbox, I don't even know if that's possible, right? Because one of those people would be hosting the game. I don't know if a PlayStation can just directly connect with an Xbox. I honestly have no idea how any of this works, but I would assume that it would have to be a dedicated server run by a company.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but it's cool. It's exciting. It's exciting news for people who are on Xbox and Final Fantasy fans.
Final Fantasy 14 is, you know, I've said it before on this podcast that my retirement plan is Final Fantasy 14. I have a retirement plan, and the first line underneath that it just says Final Fantasy 14. It is such an amazing game, and as a Final Fantasy fan, it has everything you could possibly want from a Final Fantasy collaboration. It's perfect, and it's so well done. The guys, and you know, I'm playing through Final Fantasy 16 at the minute. I'm very close to finishing it, and there's so much of 14 in that, in all of the best ways, that it's just, and like reading this after they announced this, they also released a new trailer for another expansion.
Yeah, Outbreak or Outburst, or
it's like a pirate holiday type. I don't know if you watched the trailer. It looks like it could be quite fun, because I know Endwalker was meant to be kind of like the conclusion to the story.
Yeah, didn't they come out and say that was going to be the last
expansion? It's the conclusion to that storyline, and this is the start of a new story arc.
Yeah,
it was what a Final Fantasy 14 fan explained that to me. So
I thought Final Fantasy 14 had been like that was it. Development was done.
No, they're good. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be WoW. Like, it's going to be like, you can't imagine WoW not being around in 10 years' time. I think they want to see it the same way.
No.
Well, yeah. Maybe the way Activision Blizzard is going at the moment.
It is on life support.
But this game is just so unbelievably good, and anytime there's news about it, and especially this, like, I love the idea, like the fact that we'll be cross-playing with Xbox, it brings a whole new ream of fans into it, breathes a whole new bit of life into the game, and especially with this new DLC. Every time I see this, I'm like, I wish I had all the time in the world, because the game is, as for how good it is, it just, you have to have so much time to get through this game. And if there was ever a thing, I think I said in the chat once, if I won the lottery, my plan would be, okay, I'm going to spend like a year figuring out what to do with my money, like where to invest it, how to do it. And during that year, I'll do nothing but play Final Fantasy 14. Like, it needs so much time because it's so good. But yeah, I'm delighted it's got an Xbox. Delighted that, like, the interesting part that he brings up at the end of the article is the fact that the timing is interesting. And again, I don't know if I believe it has anything to do with it, but the timing is interesting, is that Xbox finally got the go ahead to get Final Fantasy 14 at the same time they agreed to give PlayStation a 10-year uninterrupted guarantee of Call of Duty. I'm like, was that part of the negotiation? It's like, please give us Call of Duty. We'll finally give you Final Fantasy 14 if you give us Call of Duty. Like, you know?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I wonder if there was other Final Fantasy. I also wonder if, like, this kind of just broke down that exclusivity deal. Like,
which wasn't an explicit deal. It was more an implicit thing, like Sony.
But like going ahead in the future, maybe like
those doors come down.
Yeah. Do you mean it just in terms of like for the likes of the Square Enix games, like the Final Fantasy 7 remake and stuff? Because 7 remake was meant to go to Xbox. I think originally, I heard it was like it was a limited exclusivity for PlayStation.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Maybe limited exclusivity
expires now.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. It's weird. It kind of, the Sony, I looked up a couple of figures on this because I was curious, but the Sony Square Enix pairing makes sense because, like, obviously Sony's biggest market is Japan, with, I looked up a stat on it, PlayStation 5 in 2023 so far, PlayStation 5 has sold 3.12 million units in Japan, and as of the same time, Xbox Series X has sold 190,000 in Japan. So Microsoft
has brand loyalty, though.
Yeah, massive brand loyalty, big Japanese publisher, like all this kind of stuff. So I don't think Square Enix was ever super pushed for that, but it's cool that they're like considering all their markets like abroad, like how big Xbox is in a bunch of different countries. And yeah, no, it's exciting. Hopefully they do the same with like Nintendo as much as they can, like keep pushing the games that will run on the Switch to the Switch and just like bring down the walls. Games for everyone.
Could you imagine like a Mario Odyssey on the PS5? Do you ever think it would go the other way?
No, I think Nintendo's they're gonna the least likely to share.
Could you imagine that like at the board meeting and it's like Nintendo being like, can we have old Final Fantasy 7? They're like, yeah, sure. How about that Mario fella? They're like, no, absolutely not.
If anything, they'd finally fine. You can sell Mario 3 on PlayStation, the original. €60.
Still 60 quid.
It's new game. It gets new price.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past them, in fairness. That's pretty good. All right, so that's Final Fantasy 14. It's you've always talked about kind of getting into that, Chris, haven't you? Or have you gotten into it?
play around with it a bit. I played it a bit in the past. I wouldn't mind getting a bit more serious as long as we had like a actual like team or a dungeon.
Yeah.
At least big enough for dungeons. Maybe raids would be ideal. But
me and Kev had a good run with our friend Peter and my brother Andrew. The four of us were doing it for a good while. But it was quite funny because both Peter and Andrew loved playing as healers, so they're both healer classes. So sometimes when we went into dungeons, it was like, I'm sorry, fellas, we only need one of you. And it's like, who do you pick? And I'm like, I'm sorry, brother, I gotta go. Pete, I don't see him enough. Like, but two of them pick healers, which is interesting because that's a tough job to fill. Usually, I mean, I'd never pick a healer.
I like healing. I loved healing. It depends on the like when I was playing Final Fantasy 14, I was a white mage.
Nice. Okay, much like Andrew
and then I played a bunch of healers in WoW. I mean, I love discipline priests, but it was a lot of like you do damage in order to heal, which I thought was pretty dope.
What about you, Luke? Are you a tank, DPS, or are you a healer?
My first instinct, I started 14 a really long time ago, and my first instinct was to go healer as well. Am I the problem?
It's by far the you think it's not going to be so bad because you're kind of in the back. All you're doing is supporting people. It's the most stressful position.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. So that's
maybe tank can get pretty tricky if the fight has tough mechanics. But like healer, and the problem with the healer at the end of the dungeon, just like everyone's like, "Oh wow, that dungeon was so fun." And you're just like, I didn't see any of it because I was just looking at green and blue bars.
Yeah, the bars. So that's why another part why I don't think I'd enjoy the healing factor so much because I usually play tank, and my whole time playing through Final Fantasy Realm Reborn was I was a tank, and when we got to the really good raids and dungeons where it was like an 8-man, so instead of a tank, 2 DPS and a healer, you had 2 tanks, 8 DPS, so you had tank and off tank, and I got into the role of playing like the off tank role as opposed to just the true tank. I had so much fun.
Yeah, that's tanks. Because you actually get to play around the mechanics of the game, and even healer was a lot of fun in the sense that like you were playing your own like game inside the game, right? It's just like it was always something to do. But I think if I were to play again, I would definitely go tank. I've done a lot of DPS too in the past, and you just kind of like zone out. You just keep hitting your cooldown buttons, and I'm just like this.
And the DPS role was funny. What's interesting is the AI thing that they've introduced into it now, which I think is a cool concept because one of the pains that I had when I first played Realm Reborn was I went for a DPS role, but DPS roles would have been the most common. So when it came to, when you came to like loading into a dungeon, it would tell you like, okay, we've got 1 out of 1 tank.
You'd be queuing for like 15 minutes
because there's always DPS, and I switched to tank, and the moment I selected the dungeon, I get immediately a bing to like, okay, we're ready to, because they're always waiting for tanks. But having the AI thing is interesting because it kind of gives you the liberty to kind of pick whatever you just find the most interesting and not have to worry about.
It is actually pretty cool. I didn't know they had that system until I read that article.
I never knew that either, and like the last time I played was 3 years ago.
Especially important for games like this because I mean, I guess Final Fantasy 14, if you're playing it through for the first time, there is that story there, but like the real like gameplay is the end game content.
Yes.
And it takes so long to get there. And if you also have to wait for other groups in order to just like level and gear up in order to make it to the end game where you have to just gear up again, it's just too daunting.
Yeah. Great option to have. But yes, that will be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And on to, speaking of Nintendo, we go into our last article of our main show. So Nintendo reportedly plans to release next-gen console during the second half of 2024. This coming from IGN by Wesley and Poole. So Nintendo will release its next-gen console during the second half of 2024, according to a new report. Sources told VGC development kits for the unannounced new console are now with partner studios, with a second half of 2024 release window set to give Nintendo enough time to ensure plenty of stock for launch. Apparently, this new next-gen console can be used in portable mode, like the Nintendo Switch, and has an LCD screen as opposed to an OLED screen in order to keep costs down. It also comes with a cartridge slot for physical games, and as Fiji said. However, the crucial question of backwards compatibility with Nintendo Switch games remains unclear. IGN has asked Nintendo for comment. In May, Nintendo said it's the long-rumored Switch successor wouldn't release until April 2024 at the earliest. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa explained during an investor's presentation that the company isn't considering new hardware in the 2023-24 financial year, which ends on March 31st, 2024. This comes despite a decline in Switch sales. The console sold close to 18 million units in the last financial year, down from 23 million sold the year before and 28 million the year before that. Nintendo isn't looking to rush a new console out to tackle this decline, though, as it has forecast another drop for the coming year. Quote, sustaining the Switch's sales momentum will be difficult in its 7th year, says Furukawa during the presentation. Our goal of selling 15 million units this fiscal year is a bit of a stretch, but we will do our best to bolster demand going into the holiday season so that we can achieve this goal. Rumors surrounding a new console have been circulating for years. The new console was said to offer boosted graphics akin to the PlayStation 4 and its Pro model, but there is no official information regarding the next piece of Nintendo hardware yet. Do we think it's going to look like PS4 games?
No.
I think it's
Oh, God.
everything in that article just makes me think of a Nintendo Switch with the number 2 painted beside
Yeah,
it.
just taped on.
Literally, it's not an OLED, it's LCD. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, they're just, and it's going to be portable. I was like, you're just describing the Nintendo
The
Switch.
Switch.
You know that, right? It's going to run PlayStation 4 graphics.
It might have a bigger
That
hard
was a
drive instead of like, what
generation
was
ago.
it? Like,
Huh?
it might have a bigger hard drive. What was it, like a 32? This one will be like 64 or
Yeah,
something.
maybe. Yeah, probably.
It doesn't even fit it doesn't even fit Modern Warfare.
I think, could you ever... Yeah, kind of download one game. I guess based on those details that have leaked, I guess we can safely say it's the Nintendo Switch 2. It's not like a new thing. It's not GameCube to Wii. It's not Wii to Switch. It just looks like it's Switch 2.
You never know with Nintendo though. Like they could come out of left field with something wild that is technically still portable and is like, because the Wii was not the biggest jump up in like GameCube. Was it GameCube to Wii?
Yeah.
That wasn't a big jump up in technology in the same way that the other consoles were doing.
Wii U wasn't big either.
Well, but the Wii U was a disaster for them
The
financially,
Wii
wasn't
was
it?
a disaster, yeah. But it did. The Wii boasted obviously a bunch of weird extra bits that like no one saw being successful, and they were. Like Nintendo just comes out of left field sometimes with a banger. But I think they're just playing their cards close to their... I really hope they're just playing their cards close to their chest.
They could go ham too. Like they're with the success of the Steam Deck and also Asus hitting the market. They could be scared, or they could just be like, you know what, we don't want you guys to take our, what's the word?
The segment of the
portable
market.
market.
Yeah.
So they could go for like an equivalent to those or a competitor to those.
Yeah, they just
They're
want to lock
pretty
it down.
powerful. Yeah,
Fair, yeah.
be a bit more expensive, but
God damn it. So, I mean, PS4 graphics, I can't see it. I can't see Nintendo ever getting there. It's just this. And I love if they did, like a Zelda in that kind of style or anything like that. But yeah, I think it's funny because I watched the Nintendo Direct there recently, like the last one they had, and it definitely felt like a swan song Direct for the Switch.
Okay.
It was like, here's our last games, essentially. Do you know what I mean? It can ended on like the brand new 2D Mario, I think Super Mario Bros. Wonders, which I'm excited about. I love all those 2D Marios.
Princess Peach game.
So yeah, but I mean, if they're talking about like, hey, we've remastered the Luigi's Mansion from the DS, here's a brand new like the Peach game, I think will be the last big. I mean, I say quote unquote big. Nothing against Peach, but I can't imagine that would be a real heavy seller for them. But I imagine that being the end of the Switch's life cycle. These kind of games, November, October, I think, because I think that game, I can't remember what the Peach one said, but it was it out this year? And that was just the first little picture they had.
Well,
of
they
it.
didn't show. They only showed like a couple-second teaser, not even any gameplay. So I think that one's like pretty early into development.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, they're going to release a new system too, and they're going to do the same bullshit where they're going to start remastering old games, but they'll be on a different console once again. Like you can't have all your remastered old games ever on one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're already working on Tears of the Kingdom for this new console.
Yeah,
right?
you'd assume, well, I mean, yeah, I'd assume they'd have. I mean, like they're saying it could be 2024. That's the interesting thing. If it's 2024, like Zelda would have been, Tears of the Kingdom on this new console would have been the perfect release game with
that's
it.
what I was thinking, because Breath of the Wild was released on Switch, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was that was a banger of an opening thing for Switch. So I do wonder. Oh wait, the stars are aligning, fellas. I just had a thought. Because the Capcom unannounced Monster Hunter game, because that's what it's going to be. Like I said, it could be end of March 2024, and the Switch could be April 2024. What if their big opening is the next gen Monster Hunter on portable Switch? Chris, don't break my heart.
Listen, okay, so you want another, like, an upgrade to Monster Hunter World.
I do.
Monster Hunter World is like PS4.
I know.
And
I know
this might have PS4 graphics. So we either have to, like, take a downgrade or just leave Nintendo in the dust once again.
Yeah, no, you're right. I would love the next gen Monster Hunter, but that being said, I had such a fun time with Rise, like Monster Hunter Portable. Like the PSP days of Monster Hunter was some of my favorite
I wouldn't mind that
days.
either.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Rise quite a bit. Maybe just bigger maps in Rise, like some
the verticalness of all that kind of stuff was great. Yeah, it was very good. So yeah, I mean, Switch 2, I don't think any of us are too surprised about that. And excuse my ignorance here, LCD is the screen that's currently on the Nintendo Switch, right? And then the OLED is the upgrade on the base model. So they're going for the same thing again.
Yeah, they're going for a technology that's been around for like 20 years. Yeah.
Oh god,
they're
Nintendo.
Downgrading. Oh my god.
LCD was like cutting edge in 2003. So.
Oh, they're all sitting around in an office right now laughing like, oh, they're all going to buy it too. Idiots.
The new Mario game is going to be on and everyone's going to eat that shit up. Yeah, that's a pity. So that's it, kind of, fellas, for the big news things. For those people who are interested in extra news, we will have a post show happening after this, and you can go into patreon.com and sign up for that to get all the bonus content. We will be talking about a pizza scented controller in the news segment. That's the content we've got ready for you, so make sure you sign up to that shit, because it only gets better. That's absolutely it. Chris, Luke, any parting comments on the news of July? Did it do anything for you? Anything excite you amongst those things? Or
a lot of speculation, but
that's what we love here.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see what this mystery Capcom game is. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a big one, and I can't wait for Final Fantasy on Xbox.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Maybe that's it. Like maybe that's how we go back to. Maybe that's how I go back to playing Final Fantasy 14.
Spring. You gotta hop on in spring.
You finally get it, and we all play together.
I'm down.
What a world where cross-play is there for everybody. It only took, when did they say, 2013?
Yeah, 10
only
years.
took 10 years. Yeah, but we're still here. Chris, Luke, thanks a mil for hopping on. It's been great. It's a little bit rusty after the holidays, but good to have the podcast back. Good to have you guys back on the show.
Were we ever well and lubed up? Like, come on, man. This is amateur hour.
You're not wrong, Chris. You're not wrong. So listen, if you like the content, make sure you sign up to patreon.com/thegifted for loads more. There's loads there that you can get. Extra news shows, extra post shows. It's all there. If you want to comment on the news articles or what you think this unannounced Capcom game is, you can hit us up at thegiftegamingpodcast@gmail.com, where we probably don't reply to emails, but give a shot anyway. We'll try. Guys, it's been great. I'll catch you.
He'll reply. He hits refresh.
Like immediately.
Immediately. Refresh constantly.
Friend. It's okay. We don't sound desperate at all. It's been great, you guys, and I'll be sure to catch you guys on the next one. And to our listeners, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.